It's really nice when things decide to work when you feel like working. Um, Hello, my friends and followers, Instagram family. What is going on today? It is Sunday. Excuse as I adjust my camera, tripod slash whatever it is that I'm using. Welcome, welcome. Hello to audiophile and audio fans and music fans and everybody in between today. Welcome. Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are on the planet. Welcome. Thanks for watching and tuning in. I don't really know what I'm going to do today. Today could be very random, but I'm going to open the doors for anybody who wants to be part of the conversation today. So if you're tuning in live and you've watched this far, cool. Thank you for being here, JWM. Vel is here. Greetings from the cat cave, Vel says. That's awesome. So if you're tuning in after the fact, you might want to stay in and watch this one. I'm going to see if I can invite some people on to talk about whatever they have in their space. Music lovers and all things in audio and hi-fi. If you want to show something off, then let me know. Jump in, request to join, or send me a message, or type it out so I know who's who, and we'll just figure it out. We'll just wing it. We'll just do whatever showcase is going on. If there's something to showcase, something to talk about, something cool to share for a couple minutes, then come on and share it. My main focus for today will be manufacturing as a focus and how important and significant manufacturing processes are to get something done. Our R1 is joining in from Germany. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Audio Attraction has joined. What's going on? Yeah, so manufacturing in a lot of hi-fi and everything else that we have in the world, like even how this aluminum thermos thingy has, 2 layers of aluminum. It was extruded into 2 layers and pressed and all that stuff. Has anybody ever seen how these are made? Or even these? Has anybody even seen how one of these is made? There's some screws on it. There's some plastic molding, some rubberized casings on it. Has anybody actually seen how things are made? I can tell you one thing right now that all of us have seen how it's made is a mess. Hi-Fi Dad is here. Welcome. Thank you for joining and watching. I hope that my West Coast friends have the time to stick around. I really want to make this one special. I'm trying to reach out to my friends that are at an audio shop right now. I don't know that they have the ability to, but I want to reach out to them and see if they're willing to go live from their location. I think that the Wi-Fi in that location or the internet is not that strong for them in the store. EQ Audio today is doing it's an in-store demo of the Monitor Audio hyphens. So EQ Audio Video, which is in Barrie, north of Toronto, Ontario, have the hyphens in store. And I just want to say real quick, when I realized that this event was happening, I realized it late because nobody told me it was happening. Arawan says, I hope I'm saying that right. What material would you like to build a loudspeaker from? What material would I personally want to use? Whatever Estalon uses. Estalon is a loudspeaker manufacturer from Estonia. They make very gorgeous curved cabinets. They use Acouton drivers with their own proprietary crossover networks. They use a material that is some sort of like composite marble stone mix. And the beauty of using a material that is a composite sort of fluid is you can make a mold out of whatever shape that you want, and then you can join the mold to finish the cabinet, and it's dense, it's malleable, it's customizable, it doesn't need to be cut or shaven or quarried. It's a composite mix that you can customize for dampening factor, for shape and density, for curves and shapes, lots of things. I think if I was going to make exactly what I wanted in a loudspeaker, it would be this material that Estelon uses for molding their cabinets. Now, I know that Vivid Audio and a bunch of other brands also make curved and shaped cabinets, but I don't believe they're using the same dense, like, composite mix, marble stone mix, whatever that material is. They're using like molds of carbon fiber or fiberglass with dampening materials between it. Rockport Audio also uses cast aluminum baskets, which they put a constraining damp layer between the front and back of the Lyra. If you've never seen how Rockport Audio makes their speakers, check that out as well. God, I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of how things are made, more so than what they do, because people and audio people and sales and marketing can talk the face off of a goat. It's not even a saying, I just made that shit up. They can talk and talk and talk and say so many things, but actually seeing how something's made, you don't need people to actually talk about it anymore. You can just show it. Just point the camera and show what's going on. And most people that understand materials and physics know what's going on just by looking at it. Sound is a whole other landscape. There's so many descriptions. I'm back in the comments, so give me a second before you guys add more. If I take them apart and figure it out, that's how it's made, sort of. That's perfect. And I used to do that with lots of things. Take stuff apart to figure out how it works. HiFi Dad says I'm doing light manufacturing now on a light as in not lights as in Edison light bulbs. You're talking about light as in not very intensive. Okay, on a water jet. That's cool. I'd love to see that process, what you've got. You can share anything. JWM says hemp. That's a very, very good idea too. Very close to what I would say in like fiberglass. Instead of using glass, you could use hemp. That's a great idea too. Core Acoustics has some crazy heavy speakers. Yes, they're using types of granite and quartz. Vel says, it's a saying now, talk the face off a goat. It's kind of a metaphor too if you think about it, because it could also be like the greatest of all time. And they would still talk to them. Like if you didn't know who they were, they just step in and start saying everything that they have to say. Happens in comments online all the time. You don't know who is commenting really. It could be a fake account, could be a hidden account, could be anybody. It could be Andrew Jones, it could be Paul Barton, it could be Floyd Toole himself typing as somebody that you don't know. And people online will comment and start talking about whatever it is that they think they know, to a person who may be the GOAT, might be the person that knows everything already, but they will insist on saying it anyways. HiFi Dad says stoned audio hemp speakers. That's funny. Sustainable matters. That's a good one. That's a very good point from JWM Acoustics. Sustainable materials. R1 says, I think it's a pity that so many manufacturers make a secret of how the process takes place. It's not a pity, and I can explain why. Arrowin says it's a pity. I think it's a pity they don't share it. Well, because it's a competition. They're all competing to make sales. So you don't see Ferrari and Lamborghini exchanging secrets. You don't see Mercedes and BMW sharing secrets. You don't share secrets between Toyota and Honda. They're making their own proprietary and isolated technologies, the same way that like Microsoft won't share with Apple. They're competitors. And the reason why it's not a pity is that's how we keep everything under wraps, under check. Well, I mean, there might be a false guys now because everybody's joining each other. At the very top ends, there's like Time Warner Group and a couple of other like 5 or 6 like huge conglomerate companies that manage the whole circus. So I don't believe that competition is real anymore. It certainly isn't when some of the suppliers and materials like diamonds get manipulated in the market to extend or inflate their value by forcing false like scarcity. Anyways, let's not go there. It's not a pity. That's part of the process. It's not a pity. It's a pity for anybody on the outside or has an ambition to say, how do I do this? And they're not going to tell you how to do it because they had to find out how to do it themselves. It's an effort thing. The world in general, as a species, as a planet, is in constant flux and competition. That's how it works. If you don't find your way through it, you get left behind. Today, I am feeling the weight of that comment a lot. I just want to say that personally, even between friends. I don't know who will see this right now, but the network of support and sharing and respect online can be instantly taken away from you over apparently nothing or apparently something very significant. And it's always one side or another. I don't know how to explain that. I didn't want to be part of it, but I can see how fragile and fleeting it is. And because it's online and because it's public and because it's people oriented, it can all be just taken away from you for a few words. That's it. That's all it takes. Just a few words. It's like cancel culture. A few words in the public eye and it's all gone. Personally, I don't know how I feel about banking all of my effort on something that can be taken away from me just like that. I don't know how to handle that part of it yet. Val's sending hearts with healing. Thank you. Plexiglass is also nice. Plexiglass is not very good unless you can figure out how to stop it from resonating. The problem with any materials you use in speakers and manufacturing is it either resonates the way you want it to, like the way a guitar is made or a violin or a piano. All of those materials and the science and the shape and the fluctuations in density and the locations has been figured out over hundreds of years. Which woods to use, how to cut them, how to manufacture them, how to put them together, what glue, what process, what temperatures, what humidity. Violins, cellos, live instruments have been honed and worked on for centuries. They don't share each other's secrets either. Do you think Stradivari actually talked about how they made their stuff? No. Steinway's not sharing their secrets with Yamaha. That's not how it works. It's a competition to be the best of the best. You got to figure it out. It's not a secret. It's physics. If you figure it out in physics, you can make your way. If you study physics and trial and error enough, you're going to find out how to do it. And the best thing to do is not copy anybody else. Do it on your own. Be unique. Brave and endure the punishment and the suffering and the doubt like I'm going through right now. Endure that, internalize it, and figure out how to get through it to the next step. That's what I think. That's my encouraging thing. Is, I know we're all going to face a wall once in a while. So would you adapt your speakers to the room or adjust the room to the speakers? Well, in engineering, this is Arwen asking this question. Good questions, by the way. I value what you're asking. I believe that question, you guys can't see the comments I'm pointing at, I guess, because I'm scrolling. Would you adapt your speakers to the room or adjust the room to the speakers? Both. In engineering terms and most modern listening and like high production stuff like PSB or anybody who uses anechoic chambers, I think for the most part, it's both. Both things need to happen. You can make a speaker to the best of your desire, what it sounds like, the sonic signature, how it performs, but almost all speakers that I can think of have an element or two designed to interact with the room. But the room and the speaker, you can't design either one totally, one way or the other, so it's 50-50. You can go so far with making a sonic signature and the sound that you want, the cabinet, the resonance, tested on its own, but as soon as it enters the room, it adds to it. So things like a waveguide, the rounded edges on a cabinet, how tall it is, the acoustic centers, sometimes the depth of a cabinet, where the port is, how the port interacts with the room. It's all kind of predicted and designed ahead of time, but once it's in room, you have to kind of do your best once it's in the room. So that's really a 50-50 thing. So JWM says, I build for 5 manufacturers. We do have NDAs and respect them. Of course, NDAs are non-disclosure agreements, And that's for privacy and competition's sake. They're all in business to do well. If everybody had the information, or if it was stolen by nefarious types of companies and brands that are in the world, then you don't make as much money, and then all of a sudden all your effort is stolen. So JWM says, I'm pretty open with mine. You can't do it anyways. I love it. JWM's like, yeah, even if you shared what the secrets were, you couldn't do it because exactly. That's awesome. HiFi just says, I guess I will hold my comments about the. Yeah, I'm not even going to read that out. Animation is here. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let me get my room set up. You guys just hang out for a second. I want to put the actual music on. Nothing in here is started up right now. So Chris Mon is here. Animation is here. Thank you guys for joining. If you have anything, thank you for joining in live. If you have anything to mention in terms of like manufacturing experience, questions about manufacturing, Erwan has been pretty good about asking like speaker questions. Show and tell. I don't have anything to show and tell. If you want to come on and, use the front facing camera and show off something, let me know. And you could do a quick walk around of something, doesn't matter what it is. Would be really nice to actually see everybody's audio systems. I could do like a manage it one at a time and people can show off their systems and talk about it. I mean, all of these lives, it's difficult to do with a laptop. Well, actually, with the phone and the other stream I had, I couldn't actually get everything to work. So we'll try this now. We're going to bring on JWM Acoustics and we'll see what the showcase is. So everybody stick around. Told you at the beginning, we're going to try to get people on here to talk about stuff. So let's up the volume on my phone. I think we're in good standings. Whenever we get the acceptance here, then we'll
hey, is this thing on?
We'll get it rolling. I don't see two videos here. I see maybe audio is on. I don't see the other video though. I hear you.
I turned my camera on.
Yes. Let's see. So I can hear you, but I don't see any video, which is strange. I don't know why I don't see video.
Oh, somebody else sees me.
Okay, that's awesome. So I need to figure it out on my end then, because I can't see anything.
Well, cheers anyway to you guys. I'm having a Miller Lite.
Oh, that's strange. I can't even see anything. Why can't? That is the first time I've ever done this and not been able to see the other person. Let me change my camera around, see if it does anything. No. Oh, wow. What is going on?
Here, take me out and then put me back on again, see if it works.
So let's see if it's a software side, because I need to be able to see and showcase what's going on there. Yeah, so let's see if I need to do that first. Let me see. Yeah, we'll try and join again because I don't know why I can't see the video. That's so strange. Thank you for walking through this process with me. Well, hold on. Everybody hang on, and we'll try to figure this out one step at a time. Technology's not working.
All right.
Let me see.
Do you want me to back out and then come back
Yeah,
in?
let me cancel from this end. I'll see if the phone will cooperate, and we'll try it again.
I'm right here.
Let me see. This is really weird. See, my phone side, I believe that's canceled. Okay, so you guys can see both, but I can't. So that's the problem here. I need to be able to see both video feeds. And for whatever reason, maybe we could see. Watch. So I don't know the process of being able to get both people on here. That's strange. Why is it not doing what I need it to do?
Well, I see you again.
Oh, that's perfect. Can you see both of us?
Yeah, I can see both of you.
I still can't. That is so weird. I am actually, look, I have another device. I'm going to actually see what the hell's going on here. and see if it's showing up. I'm going to tune into my own live via my other account just to see what's going on, because I'll be able to figure this out one way or the other. Okay, see now I can see both. You see how strange this is?
Yeah.
Now, see, my other phone has it no problem.
There you are.
It's delayed, but I got it.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, delay is fine.
Okay, so we're going to do this, and I'm going to watch on my other device because, you know, technology is amazing.
Yeah.
I'll
Tell you
continue the
what.
conversation, and you showcase what you have, and I'll
All right.
comment on it.
Now I just got down to 10% battery, so I better hurry.
Okay, so show off whatever it is real quick, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So let's see. Start at the front end. Yeah. Let me switch to the other camera. And you'll have to excuse because my kids, they're doing lots of Legos in here right
That's
now.
awesome.
We're building some Star Wars stuff. So
That's awesome.
let's see. We'll start in this room. I have over 20,000 records, and I'm going through them again right now. But here's the front end using a exact audio Kodo turntable with a reed arm.
Wow,
And
nice.
I use this is a Top Wing cartridge that I'm using right now.
Okay.
And there's the power supply for that. But I also have a linear tracking arm that I use, Ortofon A90, and I also have an Etsura Urushi that I use also, just depending on what I'm doing.
Very nice.
Using echo diastasis, phonostage, and Etsura Urushi step-up transformer. I'm using right now, I have the Airy Surratt Incito preamplifier, and below that one down there is the Apsolari, the new signature preamp from them, which is not in the system right now, but it's about to switch out with that one.
Okay.
And that's the air pump for my arm. That is an Apsolari power supply with Biby in it. And then my DAC is the Airy Surratt Cassandra signature DAC,
Wow.
which is a ladder DAC.
Yeah.
These are both, all these are tube.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all tube, and that's a ladder DAC. It uses 16 chips per channel, and it's
Wow.
pretty fantastic. That's my reference. I do a lot of recording and
Right.
a lot of mastering at home, so that's my go-to. And then, of course, everyone has to have an Oppo.
If they could find one, yeah, it seemed to be this very big staple
that's
piece.
a ridiculously modified one. Right now, I have I'm running streaming stuff off of my laptop right now, but I don't know if you're familiar with Tweet Geek Audio. He just dropped off an Inuo Zenith for me to evaluate, and so far I love that. And it was sitting here about an hour ago, but it got moved.
Okay, the Inuo stuff has been really, really good that I've heard in many places. At the show, they had a statement system that was set up.
Yeah.
Very nice stuff.
And this rack, I make racks also. This rack weighs about 650 pounds, and it's solid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's solid walnut, and it's got torsion rods that run all the way through here, and they're tweaked down for each shelf with a tremendous amount of stuff. And then most of these are all vermouth cables that run all the way in here. And right now I'm running the brand new Apsolari integrated, which is a hybrid. It's both MOSFET, or not MOSFET. It's I don't know what the technology is on it, but it's really good. And that every once in a while I bring in this Raven Audio little lamp to play with. That's an old Harman & Kardon Citation 12, which I absolutely adore.
Oh,
and on top of it, I can't show you this, but this is really a crossover network from a set of speakers out of France that I build for a different company. And then these are running into a pair of my, these are the Allison SE Blackburn edition, some of the speakers that I build.
Yeah,
in this.
absolutely gorgeous speakers, by the way. I've always been in love with the design, the way that everything flows together, the stands matching the cabinet, the curves.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
fan- Fantastic design overall. Have
Yeah,
never heard them somewhere, so that's such a shame that I've never been able to actually hear anything in the area,
yeah,
but I'm always open to finding them.
yeah. Well, a set of these. There's five different versions of these, and then I have five other designs from a small bookshelf that's like half this size, all the way up to a mega speaker that's in the $250,000 range.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they're here and there. We'll be at the new show. There's a new show coming to Dallas, Texas that we're going to do in March.
nice.
And I'll have, I think, three different designs. And then I have a new subwoofer design that uses 18-inch drivers
Wow,
that'll also be there. Yeah, that's
very
definitely for
nice.
bigger rooms. And then there's that Ineos I was telling you about. It's sitting down there.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and then these are all vermouth cables all through
Okay.
here and around and stuff. And then we just built this house, so the listening room is quite large. So, and
Yeah, it seems to be
again,
multifunctional. I see you guys have like music and a kitchen sort of in the
that's
space,
our
and
kitchen in here. Sorry, the kids' homework is on the table.
that's
And
hi-fi life, man. You know, everybody out there makes it seem like, you know, their audio might be in a perfect state of whatever it is, but that's not true.
not,
We all
not
have
if you're in
multiple things
business.
going on.
Not if
Yeah.
you're in business. And then this eventually will be the theater,
Hmm.
uh, eventually, but that's going away. And we got a big screen going on this wall and all. And yeah, that's kind of it. I'd show you the shop, but I'm not allowed to because I've got stuff in there. But now we've
That's
started doing
that's fair.
pianos. I've
Yeah.
now one of our loves is doing pianos. This is a 1976 U3 from
Wow.
Yamaha that just got refinished in our shop, and it's a gorgeous one. But we're doing everything from I've certified now by Steinway, Yamaha, Broadman, Bosendorf, and a
Wow.
bunch of companies. So we do pianos. So we're kind of getting out of building for other people, speaker systems, and then really focusing on instruments again.
Wow,
Uh,
that's awesome that I was actually mentioning stuff about pianos and live instruments when that question came up about what
yeah.
materials and secrets and all that, and that kind of rolled into materials, and that's fascinating. I didn't even know that the shop actually, well, I mean, I know you have a very capable shop there and you could do a lot of stuff, but I didn't know how the extent of how many things are actually going on there. So that's
Yeah,
perfect.
we're building speakers, our own designs, of course, but then just over the years, we kind of built a reputation for our finishes and building. And so we started building for several, right now we're doing for five other companies and
Mhm.
then plus my own. And everything from really small stuff all the way up to really large, like unobtainable crap. And then but I really one of my loves though is doing pianos, and so I'm really delving way deep back into doing refinishes on pianos. So I got certified by a bunch of companies, and you were talking earlier like Steinway doesn't share with Broadman, Yamaha doesn't share with Bosendorf and all that, and you'd be surprised that some of them really do.
Okay.
um,
Okay.
they're not in competition with each other. They all have their own brand, and none of them can do what the other one does.
True.
But when it comes down to the finishes and stuff, some of their engineers and some of the guys that work at those companies are pretty open.
Okay.
You'd be surprised, especially with guys like me that get certified to do their finishes and rebuilds on those pianos. Um,
Okay.
Now, there are some NDAs, like they don't want me to tell you what their soundboards are made out of or what wood and stuff like that, but it's all within reason, especially, it's expensive to ship a Steinway D concert brand all the way back to New York to get refinished.
Yeah.
So they hire
Yeah.
guys like me to do it here locally.
Yeah. So,
Um,
and
you know,
I guess, and that's part of the reason why I don't have a complete picture of what manufacturing involves, and there are a lot of closed doors because it is a type of business that's not in the public eye or the consumer side.
Yeah.
So I understand exactly how things are connected like that in order to make pricing and shipping and timing and lead times and everything else that goes on with that kind of end of it make more sense than opening it up to having vendors or having types of options like that locally makes a lot more sense than doing it all yourself.
Yeah, well, one of the companies I just started building for is based out of France, and
Okay.
it makes more sense for them to have me build their cabinets here and then just ship the parts and the crossovers and stuff because it's a lot cheaper. They don't have to deal with the tariffs and all the other stuff, and I can build them locally. Then they have someone locally to be able to service them, or if somebody dings a cabinet, they come to me rather than having to be shipped all the way back to France.
Right.
So
Right.
it
Very
makes,
valuable.
yeah, it makes sense on that level. Another company builds their stuff in Mexico, and that's of course just right over the border from me. But it still makes sense for me to do them here, even though it's just right across the border. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of, I guess, in those types of cost versus timing, though you have to evaluate exactly what's going to work out. This is a big reason why the last few days I started defending the idea that you can't just look at like where it's made and then be all critical because nobody really knows. You don't have the full picture of exactly how many borders it's crossing, where everything is coming from, how the business is actually run on that
yeah.
end. So it's not
It,
just a finished label that you need to judge. There's more going
well,
on.
I mean, you can have drivers being made in Denmark and caps being made in Germany and this being made there and everywhere else. But if you can centralize that stuff in a way that you don't have to ship 500-pound cabinets around, it
Yeah.
just makes sense. So that's kind of what's like helped to build our company really is building for other guys. But, of course, our main manufacturing is for our own stuff. But
Yes.
and and fortunately, and we feel very blessed that we haven't had to do a whole lot of advertising or anything. It's just been by word of mouth. And
Very
you
valuable
you
stuff. Yeah.
you brought up another point. You brought up another point earlier that I want to bring up with you just right quick, and I won't keep you on the phone too long. As far as materials are concerned, um, we're getting ready to make an announcement for our company because
Oh,
we've literally had to turn down a few manufacturers in the last year because we are no longer going to be allowing any phenol based or formaldehyde based glue materials like MDF and that stuff on our property anymore.
wow.
We have a list of materials and other things that are sustainable and usable that are sonically superior
Nice.
to this crap wood and stuff that a lot of companies, and I won't mention anyone, are using because they're trying to save money. And yes, everyone knows MDF is a stable, wonderful material to use for speakers, but you have no idea how toxic that crap is for the guy making it
Yeah.
and how
Yeah. The
bad it is
dust
to
is
breathe that stuff.
terrible.
We grow a lot of our own vegetables and stuff on the property, and we're within 2 years we'll be completely off grid.
Wow.
And we most of my own stuff, we stopped using those materials 15 years ago, and we use solid hardwoods. We laminate all of our own materials into for the bent
Right.
cabinets like on these I showed you and all that. We do it all in house, and we use all sustainable stuff. We use soy glues instead of these phenol based crap. And one of the reasons why is because we don't waste anything. Even all our sawdust is used for making compost for our gardens to grow vegetables that we sell to our neighbors.
That's amazing.
You know, and you can't use that stuff. You can't use MDF dust for anything. It goes into the trash, and then it's either burned for fuel, and then it goes into the air that I'm breathing,
Yeah.
or it goes into a landfill and poisons the ground forever.
Right.
And
Right.
it's just and if there's like things like hemp wood out of Kentucky that we use a lot, it that stuff it's actually being grown within 100 miles of the factory, and it's like it's completely usable for all kinds of things. And so I'm about to make an announcement on Facebook telling people stop using that crap because the sonic superiority of some of these other materials is so much better. Yeah, some's more expensive, um,
Yes, yeah. Well,
but
how they can get it, the supply, what their chain of, like, the momentum of what they have going on, I guess, is something that they're going to need to change over eventually.
yeah.
But it's a wise decision investing in early because you'll be ahead of the curve for all these other reasons. It sounds amazing that you're doing that already.
Well, we did
Perfect.
it for our own speakers. Like I said, 15, 20 years ago, we started doing that. But now it's like, if I tell these other people, I was really afraid to start sending these emails out saying, hey, man, I'm not using that in my shop anymore. But here's the alternative. Here's what you can use, which is going to be superior and better. And I was afraid I was going to lose clients. And
Right.
every single one so far has been, I'm on board. I want to
Perfect.
do that. And it's like, wow, okay. And you're okay with it being a little more expensive? And they're like, absolutely. I don't care if I can put that into my business model and even tell people it doesn't need to be a selling point, but it naturally is.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there you go. Like this, who's the company making the stuff out of stone?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think that's awesome, man. I mean, that is amazing because there's no waste there, and it's
Yeah.
not going to kill you. I mean, wear a mask if you're cutting stone, but
Of course. And wear a
you know,
mask no matter what you're cutting in general. You should
exactly.
probably be doing that. Yeah,
But
for sure. Yeah,
I hope
I
I hope
love
people.
seeing it. There's a number of different companies. There's artist cloner speakers that have a veneer and slate. That Fisher and Fisher company has like slate panels. I saw some of those going on at Capitol Audio Fest. Core Acoustics obviously using granite and
Yeah,
quartz. They're not. I mean, they're not the first. There's a few of them actually use like rock slabs or concrete mix or certain things like that. Even Estalon that I mentioned is using a composite of some kind. I'm not sure what it is. I've never asked them, but I'm pretty sure it's proprietary. So it's
yeah,
not. They're not using a wood source. It's a stone based. It's like you can get a lot of benefit. Of course, it comes with costs. It's not. We're not. None of these brands I mentioned are budget. You know
no.
what I mean? So there's going to be a border there, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's important, and you do what you're saying, and we always say power with grace is one of our things we always say, and I think sustainable audio is power with grace. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're creating the products we make, we want to last for generations,
Yes, and they
and
would
yeah,
in those
you
terms. They're sustainable, they're improved, they're superior in some ways, like you're mentioning. So the investment up front for maybe a little bit of price gets you more longevity.
absolutely. And these soy-based glues that they're using to laminate this stuff up with these days last longer than a lot of this crap glue that they've been using over the years made of all these chemicals in China that are just going to go into our landfills. And it's like, why not, man?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it
yes,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it's the cost. I mean, right now, but it's all coming down, man. It's all coming down in costs. And hemp, though, is our favorite right now. And this company we're getting stuff out of Kentucky, and it's expensive. I mean, the stuff runs. I mean, for 3/4 inch ply boards can run $38 a square foot, and
Oh, okay.
so and people wonder why are they so expensive? Well.
Yeah,
but but it's worth it in the long run if you're going to have a product that's going to last longer than something made out of crappy MDF that's going to fall apart the first time the humidity gets too high. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. So
Anyway,
doing a couple of like material demos, things like that to reinforce the idea of using them would definitely have people thinking twice about what it's made of, what the costs are. Always demonstrations. You know how it is. People are very visual and they want confirmation. And the more things that they can have in front of them to prove or showcase something that actually works in a way that they can understand is totally the best way to demonstrate and like get people convinced that it's the way to go for the future. So I think that would be awesome to put in front of people, say, hey, here are the differences practically. And then the audience will just follow from there, I believe.
Well, see, the whole thing is like when it comes to some of this, we have accelerometers and all kinds of stuff around here that we use for testing materials. Like I do a lot of hardwoods,
Yes.
and if it doesn't fall within a certain parameters, I can't use it for baffles or anything like that.
Right.
And there's certain woods that I like to use, like monkey pod and black walnut, because of their resonant characteristics. Now, as far as cabinet material is concerned, I've literally, that's what we do. I put the meters on them, and I've shown at least two. I've had two meetings in the last month with two different clients and said, look, I can show you on the computer screen what the resonant qualities of these are compared to what you've been using. And by the way, I went ahead and made your speaker out of this to show you that it sounds better.
Right.
And every single time they're like, we're on board.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
it's wonderful. You have to show them, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you make a good point, man. So yeah, I'm way ahead of you, man.
Well, that's the know. The people that know are already on that train.
Yeah.
And I guess what I feel like in my position, because I'm really trying to amplify and communicate between the two worlds, because I've had my toe kind of on both sides and I'm interested in both sides. I love being connected to the community, but bringing that conversation and how it makes a difference between one side and the other is really why I've tried to make this like manufacturing push
Yeah.
and talk about how much effort and how much thinking and planning and cost reduction and consideration and where the compromises are being made, that some customers and clients and even fans, people that are feel like they're enthusiast fans, don't know much about it or how it really makes a difference. So I love being able to show this stuff for people.
Yeah. And I mean, just stupid things like, too. I mean, you know that we're all about handmade.
Yes.
And somebody commented from another manufacturer the other day about, why aren't you using CNC to crank this stuff out overnight, you know, super
Yeah.
fast? And it's like, because CNC is wonderful if you're cranking out 100 speakers a week, you know, it's a wonderful thing, but you cannot beat handmade.
Right.
And I don't want to run all the electricity and run all that stuff and all that. And we're building pianos, you know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. And it's like, it's the same with materials. I mean, it's like people are all about efficiency and making it quick and
Right.
getting it out the door fast, and let's use the cheapest material that sounds okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And
And it's
so I appreciate this. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't want to keep you much longer, but in the future, as soon as I get this cue out of the shop, maybe in a week or so, I would love to show you the shop
yes,
and walk you
totally.
through there.
We
Yeah.
can do this again or as often as you would like. I don't mind at all. I have a bit of a flexible schedule in terms of like my weekends, but any kind of like ahead of time stuff, we plan it out. If you want to do that, then
And I'd like to
100%.
show everyone else out there too, you know,
Yeah.
online, you know, on one of your feeds. And we have no secrets when it comes to my stuff, but right now we have a bunch of other companies in the shop, and I can't show you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Fair
or
enough. So
I'll
all
get
of
in
our
trouble.
audience will be like, it sounds great, but I don't see anything.
Right. But as soon as right after Thanksgiving, we have a bunch of stuff shipping out, and then the shop will be open. And I'd be happy to show everyone out there how you build sustainable audio, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Perfect. I
and what's
love it. I
going on.
love the idea. I'd love to be part of it and amplify the signal. Let more and more people know that this is the direction that is
Yeah.
happening, at least for you, but also as a larger type of community thing.
No,
This is what we would eventually want from a lot of brands to take, and I don't want to say control, it's not really the word that I mean, but take advantage of these improvements when it is significant enough to do so.
yeah, and I'm not. This is not about advertising. This is about showing other people that this is possible. You know,
Yes, yes,
and I'll
possibility.
show
Yeah.
you how. Any company out there, log in, man. I'll share all my materials with you. Hell, I'll make you the laminates. You know? But I think it's a good idea, and I really appreciate what you're doing, man. And I think this whole manufacturing thing is kind of a cool direction for you, man. I think you
Yeah,
should keep it up.
I definitely will, and I've given a lot of credit to the source that I heard it from, and that was the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk and what he's
Yeah.
doing and how he emphasized the idea that, I mean, there's a lot of showcases and movies talking about inventors, designers, architects, all these people that have the ideas that initiate the process. But he had said that there's no movie about the manufacturing process, like how each of the things is done, how many steps there are. And to his credit, and what he had mentioned was like Henry Ford has been attributed to the invention of the car, but what he really invented was the production line.
Yeah.
And that's what he's not known for, but that's what results in all of the stuff that we have.
Yep.
So I really wanted to showcase that part of it again, because I've been on both sides and I know how much of this stuff is significant. So yeah, I want to make that voice being heard, because all of you guys, yourself and a lot of other companies, trying really hard to get everything out there, and I think that that side of it needs to be told too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Well,
And
thank you so much for joining today. That's really incredible.
aloha. Hey, and get your butt down here, man. Come
I
visit. We got an extra room for you. The porch light's on, man.
100%. As soon as I can figure out exactly how I can make all of this stuff that I'm doing work to that end, 100% I'm going to be traveling.
Well, just for the hell of
Thank
it,
you
just
so
come
much.
down. I'm cooking steaks on the open fire tonight, man. If you can make it on time, I'll ask.
I that would be amazing. Let me just call up a private jet, and try to arm wrestle Trudeau into giving me a free flight out of Canada.
Oh, you need one right quick? Here, guys, can you send this guy a jet? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, it's on its way.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
those are the
man. I love
goals.
you
If we
very
could
much,
figure it out,
and I
then
hope you
yeah.
have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I'm going to have to log off here because, but anyway, thank you for
Thank you
allowing me
so
time to talk
much,
about this stuff.
JWM Acoustics, everyone. If you didn't know, you came in and saw it. It's not listed and showcased anywhere. JWM Acoustics. Follow, please.
Hey, you guys all have a great night.
Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
You bet. Bye. How do I get out of here? Hey, I'm stuck. How do I get out of here?
There should be an X. There should be an X somewhere there to let you out. That's funny. So all my friends and followers, wow, thank you so much for joining in for that one. I am very glad that that was possible. Going to turn off my own my intro, my inception monitor here. Thank you very much for joining in with all of that. And wow. See, I didn't even turn on audio at all. There was no music playing. It was all just knowledge and real connections. People start to talk about cables and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all these other connective things in the world. And what you just witnessed right there is the connection between people that is behind the technology. And what do you think is more important? I personally would rather have that connection than these connections. Both are great, but if I had to pick one, yes. So let me address a couple of the questions. A couple people asked about cables, why the cables are off the floor. Let me move my camera around, set up my system like I wanted to. Even my own cables, not that they're significant, but I have my cables off the floor too, so why? Does it make an audible difference? Well, these don't. These cables are probably not significant enough that it needs it. And in my room, I don't know that I can hear the difference. But why are they raised off the floor? So here's the theory. I don't know if it can be measured or if anybody's done these tests. I personally haven't seen them done. So I don't know that the test will show. I'm just turning on my fans. The idea is electricity running through cables, where the electricity runs this way through the cable, the current runs this way through the cable. The electromagnetic field creates a circle around it in a perpendicular type of thing. So if the signal's running this way, the EMF runs around the cable in a circle. That is what people or science would tell you may have an effect based on what's in the proximity of the cable. That is, it's a debatable type of science. The science is real. What I just said is 100% fact. Fact. Every cable, every electrical signal, everything moving through materials has an EMF field. Now, the real question is, how big is the EMF field? Like how much space outside of the cable does the EMF actually affect? So if it's carpet, the carpet's made out of polyester, whatever it's made out of. The lamp, you see how close the cables are to the lamp. I moved this, how close they are to each other. So I have a power cable here that's literally touching the other cable. So the power cable's running 120 volts at whatever amps. That's a signal cable. Now the signal cable is touching the other one. That's only running like 2 volts. That's running 120 volts. So the EMF from power might affect the signal. So can you hear that? Because they're so close to each other? We don't know. Who's measured it? But that's the theory. So the question was, why do we raise them off the floor? Or why do you keep them separated? And the answer is electromagnetic field. If you want to do the research, that's where you start. I can't tell you whether or not it makes a difference because I've never seen it measured. Very few people can actually measure it. So we don't know. I'm just turning my system on here. Thanks for joining. That's the wrong color. That's the right color. The cables are isolated enough to already build their own distances. So Erwan's talking about the insulation of the cable itself. So all the cables have this plastic covering on it, right? And so what he's talking about is it already has an insulating jacket around the metal. So that comment relates to how far away from the metal the EMF extends. The type of material that's used in the coating of the cable can make a difference, but you're right. He or she, I don't know. The electromagnetic field distance from the cable, depending on how much voltage or current is passing through the cable, indicates the distance. And I don't know why you're saying, but the cables are isolated enough, because I didn't make them. I'm only answering the question, so we're not arguing with me. And you asked the question, why are they raised off the floor? And now you're giving us the answer. So don't do that. I'm okay with answering questions, but I don't want to get into an open debate if you think you already have the answer. Now, you just had me explain all that stuff out loud to everybody, but you already had your own answer? Come on now. Behave yourself. That's how comment sections get into a mess. People just want to argue and debate and insert their own theories and thoughts, but they're not actually trying to help other people understand. Ooh, my lights are disobeying me. There we go. I'm all about having the discussion, but as long as it's fair. Looks great. That's the opinion. Oh, so you're not sure how the isolation of the cables works? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't want to make this a focus point, but I want to get to the bottom of it. Let me see what else. Didn't have. Yeah, C29615 saying over 240 volts. Yeah, it depends on your region. Clear. I need to adjust this light. That's bad. There we go. So that's the system setup. Cleo was joined. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. Yes, 240 volts in other countries. It's 120 here in North America for whatever reason. You can look that up in historical records for why they chose 120 and not 240. I'm not an expert, I would say, but I know enough. Thank you, C29. I'm going to call you C29. It's the room looks amazing. Yes, 100%. It's just plastic tiles using double-sided tape set up on the, you know, just taped to the wall. So it works. I want to do this. So you guys don't know what it sounds like, but just listen for a second. So there's kind of a sound to it, right? So here's a higher frequency part of it. So that sound, it's about, it's in the mid-range. Will this reverberate when it's playing? Yes, it will. And I don't know how to take the resonance out of that because it's a budget I don't want to spend. However, is the reflection or the reverberation of the panels audible over the music I'm listening to? And I'm going to say, no, it's not. Do they vibrate? Yes. Can you hear it over the music? No. Not in my experience, anyways. Val in animation here. I'm in the park with my kids. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you for joining and following along even though you're with your family. That's so special. Thank you. Awesome. So I hope, Arwan, we got to the idea there. So let me see. I also had the lamps on the speakers once, but unfortunately they caused the noise. Yes, 100%. I agree with that statement as well. Sometimes when you're including lights or lamps, the power supplies, it's generally the power supplies. This is a very interactive thing here, but that's what we do. So things like this is a control mechanism for the lights. See, the lights are plugged in over here. This is the distributor for the lights. The lights are plugged in both sides. You see that? So this is the power supply here. And these are like very, very, very basic converters. See that? So the input is 5 to 24 volts. Output is 5 to 24, 3, whatever. So this is like a jumper control box. It's the remote control thing. So the actual power supply is tucked behind here. It's like a power brick. Most people understand what a power brick is. Unfortunately, I don't have any around to showcase. I have power. It's all tucked behind the mirror, so I can't really show that right now. JWM Acoustics says, thanks again. Talk soon. Off to the grill. Date night with the amazing lady. Again, killer system. Well, thank you so much for joining in, and enjoy the evening with the grill and the food and the family. And man, I do wish I could participate, but there's no such thing as teleportation yet. I think while we're at inventing and coming up with new acoustic materials, we could also work on that. It would cut down on travel costs and shipping, receiving, big time. Have a good night to you, sir. Thank you so much. Amazing. So, where are we at? Let me bring it back. Okay, I have to absolutely blow my nose right now, so I'm going to mute myself. Almost. Wow. So C29 says, how do you call the speakers? Meaning, which brand are these? These are Arundel 1723 THX Towers. Let me write it in the comments. I'm writing in the comments. There we go. R1 says the hobby connects people. Absolutely. No, I may have my own sort of style. I'm obviously navigating through being social and talking with people my best. I mean, we all have a history. I have flaws. I have a very quick nature. I don't mean to cause issues or upset folks. I get really specific about what we're talking about. I come from a background of philosophy and argumentation, and it's important to kind of be clear for everyone. I want to create an environment where we can be heard. You're open and welcome to ask and talk about certain things, but obviously we want to navigate through these conversations and topics where we're being mindful of the tone we take, the position we take, the back and forth, the consistency of our position. If we're open to asking, we should be open to hearing answers, and that's on all sides. That gets tricky. It's not as easy as some people like to think it is. You know, when we hold a position, if we're just curious, but even the nature of asking, the different languages that we have, if we're translating from another language to English, I only speak English. I don't understand any other language at this point. So it can be tricky, and I also want to bring attention to that human connection, that we're all curious, we all like to know, and the conversation that we have about it, getting to those answers, is as equally as important as the answers. So in my mind, I think that's important. What are we at? An hour? Okay. Well, now that I have this system set up, Monster G-Funk joined for a bit. C29 is still here. Let me see. R1, thank you again for all of the questions today. Val, thank you for hanging out and in joining in this amazing experience. I want to leave this video at an hour. What I may do is upload this to YouTube so it can continue on. I'll ask permission if it can be shared on YouTube as well, because I think these types of interactions and live streams with folks are important. It allows for more connection, more understanding, and that's what we really want out of things, is to be connected and to be understood. So I think if I can bring those two factors to the hi-fi space in whatever means that I have, then I feel like I'm doing a good job, and I feel like that's what I should continue to do. I mean, I certainly started this vlog today with a very somber, melancholic type of feeling where I wasn't sure how everything was going to go today, and there's a lot of factors going on with other things in the world right now. I mean, world politics right now is as heavy as it could ever be, no matter what side we stand on. The conversation and understanding is still very, very important, no matter what it is that we deal with. So, as emotional and as much feeling and history and importance and significance these things are, the ability to communicate clearly so we can understand the way, if we were able to handle world politics the same way I handle the conversation about cables, the problem is nobody has an invested feeling about the cables, so we can have the conversation easier. But that doesn't make any difference in the connection between people. Person here and person here still need to be able to figure it out, because we are all just one species. We're all just human beings. And eventually it all has to balance out. We need to be able to figure all of that stuff out. So while I approach the conversation today with a hope and an ambition and an idea for manufacturing, for connecting with my fans, for talking about some of these things in hi-fi, I'm very glad that my friends here and followers have joined and an audience that is interested has joined to hear about the possibilities of change and the changes that can be made in order to make improvements. That's what we're here for. We're here to adapt, to learn, to grow, to encourage, to inspire. Those are the things that I am here for personally, as a person, as a platform, as a channel, to educate, to understand, to communicate, to showcase, to demonstrate anything that is important, significant, or valuable for the community at all of those levels. So from me to you, thank you for joining today. Thank you for watching and tuning in, clicking on something that was a chance and spending your time, because as we all know, time is an absolute currency that we cannot get back. So thank you for spending your time with me today. Thank you so much. The last few comments I want to read out here. One says that my problem with the question is with cables I'm working in parallel in translator it can happen, sometimes misunderstood. And I'm glad that I can understand that it's not, when we read online and even animation with he's out, think about the gentleman is out with his kids at the park. He's with his family at the park with his kids, and he's joining with us. And think about how special that is. That blows my mind that he's willing to do that, to be part of this conversation. That's pretty huge. So in translating and language and asking the questions, this is one level anywhere we read online, to just understand that not everybody is playing the same inputs, right? If you have SACD, Bluetooth, streaming, vinyl, tape, CDs, all of those different types of formats, like different languages, different cultures, are all coming to the same point. And we have this little bit in the middle where it all has to figure its way out. And then on the other side, we do the translation, like what a DAC does, that digital to analog is the conversion. It's the same thing with people speaking their minds and trying to think through a problem. The question is valuable. The communication is tricky, the same way that all DACs and all transformers and electrical circuits have to take all of the information and figure it all out. So the quality of our communication and society and community and government and policies, all of those things happen to us as people. We are the electricity in culture and in reality. People are what move around, the same way that the electronics move and the electromagnetic field and the current and electricity moves through a circuit. People move through the world. So all of these communication techniques translate what we're doing to each other so that we can make it balanced. For me, that's what I think. That's how I think of it. And that's philosophy coming out, and I spent a lot of time in university doing this, so whatever it's worth. If it's funny, if it works, if it makes sense, if you can understand, I'm grateful. That's what I'm here for. So cheers to you on a Saturday or Sunday, no matter where you are. Thank you guys for joining and listening and contributing and asking questions. Val, Erwan, C29, thank you guys for being here. To my other friends, Chris Mon that was here, to JWM Acoustics, thank you very much for joining in. To everybody who participated today and was here, thank you so much for watching and contributing to this development in HiFi for improvement. So C29 saying music and HiFi connects. It doesn't, right, it doesn't care which area of the world you're from, where you were born, which is really none of our choice. None of us chose as babies, as new human beings. We didn't choose where we would grow up. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose the culture we grew up in. It was happening to us. We were fed our cultures. We were fed our religions sometimes. We were fed the music we listened to, the sounds that we listened to. So all of these factors are part of who we are, what we are trying to do with our own space in the world. But how we reach out and how we bring in other people and how we interact is really the critical parts of what we're doing here. We may have a hobby, but the hobby isn't more important than the people. So if I can give any kind of thing to the community today, if you go out there and you read messages, if you leave messages, try these 3 things instead of 3 other things. Instead of being critical, negative, or what's the third one? I had 3. Just criticism kind of covers both of them. Negative, discouraging. So critical, negative, or discouraging, try these 3 things instead. Try complimenting, try encouraging, and try being inspiring. So whatever it is that you're looking at, you don't agree, you don't understand, any one of these things, try giving a compliment, try encouraging others. There's more than just the person reading, for sure. So try encouraging something in a nice way, be positive, and try inspiring the idea of curiosity and adventure and connection. So leave criticism and negativity out. Don't be critical. Be inspiring instead. Try that as a habit or a hobby, or in the hobby, I should say. Make it a habit to be inspiring and encouraging and complimentary instead of anything else. Look for something good about it instead of commenting on the negative about it. And it'll make the biggest difference in the community. So thank you. I'm going to enjoy my system. I might come on live again later. I don't know. It's still early for me. Usually I'm not on until after 8 p.m. So I thank you all for joining here at this time of the day. JWM says, best show you have ever done. See you again soon. Thank you so much for that. That's incredible. C229, Zimmerman Robert has joined. Thank you for joining and watching. It's an hour-long show with an amazing interview with JWM Acoustics, so please rewatch. Look for it on YouTube, again, if I'm allowed to post it on YouTube, and I will see everybody next time. If you have any further questions, if I cut you off, send me an inbox, okay? I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and carry the message forward.